Alrighty, g'day guys. Welcome back to Steeler Nation Australia. We have like a bit of a special podcast today, and I'm joined by my good mate Itzyinzburgh. Tyler, mate, what's going on? How
Hey,
are
what's
you?
up, Mark? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. But before we start this podcast, and we're going to talk pretty much everything because I don't think you and I have talked maybe for a year or so. Both been busy on our own different journeys and just life in general, right? Life always gets involved. That's a real thing, and a real thing about YouTube as well, which life gets involved. But what is the go with your background?
Oh, it's the greatest draft pick by the Browns ever, Johnny Manziel, throwing up the money signs, ATM.
All right, where do you think he went wrong, Johnny Manziel in the NFL? Was it with the money signs? Was it what happened to him
I
besides
think
us
he was
killing him?
just I think he was just all hype. I think all the money signs up built up his hype for his stock, and I just don't think he was NFL material. He was a decent athlete, decent arm.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and watch that game. There's a game where the Steelers absolutely creamed him, right? I think we got like what 5 sacks out of him, fumbles, and he just all over the shop. I think we beat him like 40 to something. I don't know what game it was, but yeah, that's funny, man. I did not expect that. You threw me into a loop there, Johnny Manziel. Oh, but he was a good college guy, right? Looking at football, he was massive in college, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I think second year Heisman. He went nuts. He was actually a lot of fun to watch, but
Yeah. And the Browns, they bought into him. They thought, you know what, he's our guy, he's our future, he's this, he's that, yada yada yada. Pittsburgh Owens is better than Mason Rudolph. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't think so. Not in the NFL. But yeah, he went. They went crazy, and then now we've got our own guy, right? We got Kenny Pickett, but there's not much hype around Kenny Pickett as there was Johnny Manziel, right?
I don't. Maybe locally there was, but nationally definitely not. Kenny Pickett was the guy who was taken way too early by most fans. They're saying Kenny wasn't that guy. So I think Kenny has a chance though in Pittsburgh to make a little bit of a
Yeah,
splash.
well, we got a few questions. We haven't talked for a long time, right? So let's get just overall scenario. What are your thoughts so far on this season? I guess it's not the way it's panning out.
It's hard to say. I mean, they say they want to win. They say they want to win, but I see tank on top of tank now. Especially committing to Canada, committing to the run game the way they have this far. Especially Najee. Najee's been a little bit rough. Some fans
Hmm.
disagree, but I think I made a video actually on Warren. I think he's the guy who should be getting the touches.
He should be getting something. I believe that should be at least. I don't care if you call him number one for Najee or number two, but like at least give Warren a chance. And it feels like this coaching staff doesn't want to do that, right? You know.
Yeah, they feel kind of stuck in their ways, kind of married to that first round pick. I mean that's just how I see it
But
because I mean 3 yards a carry.
yeah, it's pretty bad. He's also got, I believe, the longest carries goes 18 yards this year. Like overall, I was pretty excited in the offseason, like getting all these players, Omar Khan, doing this, doing that. Then TJ went down. Now there's big news coming back with TJ. Are you excited that TJ's coming back? Like, is that going to make any difference, you think?
I mean we're 1-10 without him,
Yeah, I
but
know, right? Isn't that crazy?
we are 2-6 now, and as it looks right now, I don't know how much he can change at this point. Even if he added 5 wins, we're still going to be in a pretty bad situation.
Yeah, do you there's talk around the the NFL and Steelers, and my mate Britsburg Owen, who I work with, we talk about this thing called the Steeler way. Do you think the Steelers are stuck in their old ways, like with coaching, and of course, I put a lot of blame on Big Ben last year. Is there also blame on did we blame Big Ben too much last year? Because I know I did. I put my hand up and said, you know what, he sucks near the end, but it might not be him.
Yeah, seeing the offensive line last year compared to this year even shows how bad it truly was last year with Green under center. And yeah, I think they are stuck in their ways a bit, which can be good and can be bad. In certain situations, it's looking bad after the first bad season in 20 years. So I'll trust the process for now. Maybe we get 3 or 4 straight seasons like this, I might start getting a little concerned.
That's a good point too. I think because we have had that success over, I've been watching since 2002, I believe, and I've never had. I don't think I've ever had a losing season or when I really got into it was around 2007, right? So never had a losing season. Have two Super Bowl wins, and now it seems like it's all coming crashing down. At the same time, they still have a chance if they win this game and win the next game, can come back to an almost near 500, have a chance for the playoffs, maybe, and a chance for the division if the Ravens stuff up. So we're always still in it to a certain degree. But it feels like this year that nothing's clicking, and I can't believe have you made any videos around Matt Canada and how awful he is? Like if no one knows yet, Itzyinzburgh here, Tyler, runs a big channel on YouTube, highlight channel, and I have no idea how you're even making videos right now. There is no highlights, like there's none.
No, there's absolutely none. I wish I could make a Canada video, but I mean, no one's gonna even want to watch that because they just kind of stink, you know. Longest passing touchdowns, 8 yards. That's and this what the highlight of the season is that flea flicker to Mitch, maybe.
Maybe, and possibly the Claypool pass to Derek Watt.
Yeah, that's longest play of the whole
You know
year was
what?
by
It's
special teams
you.
too.
You should be the number one. Hate fan club of Matt Canada. It's ruining your work.
Yeah, do the Fire Canada bit again from last
Yeah,
year.
it's even to a point like I was talking to I think it was Maddie yesterday on Steelers touchdown under on BTSC, and it's like I'm kind of over it of like trying to fire him because I think every single Steeler fan knows he's bad, except Coach Tomlin and the Roonies. They just want to go with him, right? Do you see any change at all, like realistically this year that they get rid of him, or is he here for the whole time?
See, I think that's where it's a little complicated just for Kenny because I think they want to keep the same situation for him because if they do fire Canada, it's going to be his assistant, which is basically the same offense, just to finish out the year.
Right.
And that's going to give Kenny Pickett potentially 3 offensive coordinators in 1 year.
Yeah,
So
that's
I don't think that's going to happen this year. Maybe not
yeah,
even next year.
that's the point we're here to. And I'm like, at the moment, I think I've been yelling fire Canada so much for about 9 weeks now that I'm kind of over it. Like this is the bed we lay in right now. Even if you were to fire him, you're right. You're going to put someone under him with the same system, the same idea. So to me, it's like you have what you have, right? But even to a certain degree, like I read a comment the other day. Matt Canada called out, Kenny Pickett for he needs to limit rookie mistakes. And I get that he's a coach and he's coaching that way, but your offense stinks. Like the offense is terrible, right? And you're, calling the kettle black. I think there's too much ego on his side for Canada, but it looks like we are stuck with him for the rest of the year. Have you been impressed? Have you been, or maybe not impressed, but have you been kind of happy with the quarterback play with Kenny Pickett?
I mean, again, he's a rookie. Even look at most guys who are their true first rookie year. Peyton Manning, like even I think Aaron Rodgers had a shaky one. Josh Allen, recent memory. So you can't really judge his first year. So I'm pretty happy so far. He's shown some flashes of a little bit of good quarterback play. Can't throw the deep ball yet, but you could partially blame Canada potentially. But I
Are
don't know.
we just too overreactionary now in the social media age where a lot of us do have YouTube channels like myself or even yourself where you can paint a picture in the highlights? Are we too overreactionary where back in the day, say 10 years ago, 2-6, you'll be right. Next week you'll fight another game and get out of it, or you'll be fine. It feels like in the social media age, we're so quick to jump on a guy that is bad, right? And Devil says social media is the devil, and I kind of agree with that, right? Because when I was growing up watching the game, I was the only guy I knew that watched Steelers in Australia, right? And now I know the whole world on social media watches it. And the minute we do bad, 2-6 is awful. It feels like the Steelers are turning into that guy behind you, Money Manziel, the Browns franchise, which we're not. We're just going through a hard time. Do you think social media has a real impact on how we view our Steelers?
Oh, absolutely. You hop on Twitter at any time, everyone's gonna be ripping and tearing into Tomlin, Canada, even Austin. I've seen Flores get some flack for the inside linebackers already. It is what it is, and it's a process when you lose your Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, I think a lot of us had a lot of optimism this year, hoping that maybe Kenny or Mitch would be the decent fix. I mean, Mitch might have even won more games to this point.
Possibly.
So but that just shows that they're doubling down on Kenny's development and the entire
What
year being a development year.
what are your thoughts on how they manage the quarterback position from day dot? You know, going all the way back to the offseason. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think they're stuffed up, to be honest.
Oh, big time. They seem pretty dedicated to making Kenny watch from the bench for one season, which I was fine with once they
Mm.
started. I mean, Mitch had probably the shortest leash I'd ever seen. He got yanked like nothing with no plan the prior week.
Did they listen to the fans? Because I would have been yelling, being critical of Mitch anyway, which I got like I was, right? Did they listen to the fans too much? That scenario, did they jump the gun too much? Where they could have rode out 10 games in a row and been in the same position, or maybe better, maybe won one game or more, and then started Kenny Pickett from this juncture.
Yeah, I think definitely from this juncture of Kenny Pickett being sorry, I'm having like a brain fart here.
Yeah,
The with Mitch Trubisky though, being 10 games in, if we were at this point with him,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
think
Yeah,
we would be in a much better situation altogether. But
yeah.
I think that's why I'm thinking they're doubling down on a rebuild, whether we like it or not.
Right. Because I think looking back at it in hindsight is you go, oh yeah, that should have made sense. For me, they never gave, and I know my mate Britzberg Owen doesn't like Mason Rudolph. To me, the quarterback competition never really happened. Like
Mm.
it was a mix up of we got Kenny Pickett, need to give him reps. We got Trubisky, who's meant to be the starter, and we got Mason Rudolph, who has been in the system for a long time. Can't we give him a go? And they stuffed it all up. Then they went to me. That's what they did. Then they went and started Trubisky, gave him 4 games, and then said, "See you later." Even though I was critical, and I was critical, and I won't take that back. But it doesn't matter if I'm critical. They could have played him for 10 games, or they could have started Kenny Pickett for 10 games, or they could have started Mason Rudolph for a few games, and then gone to Kenny Pickett. But now we are in the Kenny Pickett boat, right? We have to ride this out. You can't go to Mason Rudolph. There's no way, right? So he's
Nope,
going
you
to
gotta
sit
stick
there
with them.
and he's going to sit there for the rest of the year and try and find a new team. But he could have been easily, in my opinion, a capable backup. And you never went and got Mitch. Now, some people say, well, you went and got Mitch because he was security, before the draft. You didn't know what you want to do, right? But I think you could have a bit more planning where you go into the draft, you get a better, maybe you shore up something else like the O line or something like that. You just use Mason Rudolph. If you draft Kenny, you got that. There's because you're not using. The thing is, to me, you're not using Mason Rudolph anyway. So isn't Mason Rudolph similar position to what Mitchell Trubisky's in? I don't know. I just feel like they stuffed it up somehow. Like it's just crazy.
I was surprised they kept Mason on through all of this. First and foremost, I mean, he's a talented, like you said, backup. At the very least, I think he has a lot of potential still,
Right.
just to be a number 2 guy in the NFL, which
And
he's not yet.
now he's 3 doing nothing. Like he doesn't even get dressed.
No,
Like
he's just
I
out
don't
there with the
understand.
practice team. That's it.
So yeah, he doesn't even get dressed, and they're dressing Trubisky. And if Kenny goes down, knock on wood, we hope it doesn't happen, right? Then Trubisky comes in, and Rudolph's just sitting there. I don't know. It's a very very funny situation how they handle it all because I believe that the Steelers haven't done this for a very long time since Big Ben, right? They had no real plan of attack, did they? They went and maybe they went and jumped at a quarterback. Oh, we need one, and grab Kenny. I don't know. It just seems like it's all kerfuffled. But we have some big news too while we're breaking some other stuff. Um, we have Minka Fitzpatrick out. What are your thoughts on that? He got appendicitis or something? Something wrong with his? I don't know what he has.
Yeah, I saw something with this appendix. I think that's a pretty. I think you were mentioning it earlier about being a trade-off for TJ. You
Yeah.
shore up one part of the field and the other one's exposed all of a sudden. I mean, I guess with that Kazi guy's coming back, but he's not Minka Fitzpatrick, and
No. And
just it
we're
just
all,
seems like this season that's just the whole story too.
mate, your Johnny Manziel fingers has cursed us again. All right. No, it does seem like that because I was excited at the very start of the year. I was excited to see Kazi get involved in the mix because he's a pretty talented safety. Has had a good career with the Falcons. He's short tackler, a lot of turnover machine. Had a big chance in this defense. Then TJ Watt goes down, then he goes out, and then it's nothing like we had pictured or planned. Now you think getting back TJ, getting back Kazi, depending on their health, and then Mick goes out. So Trey Norwood's probably going to step up because they're still probably going to try and do that 3 role safety. But do you think, like, you know what? I'll ask you this question too. This one also intrigues me, right? so much pressure on the offense. You think there's a lot of pressure on the defense, but no one's calling him out. Like Terrell Austin is getting the an easy walkthrough because everyone hates Matt Canada, but no one's saying fire Terrell Austin.
See, I have a hard time criticizing the defense at all. Once TJ went out, I mean that's $100 million player. That's like
That's
your
true.
whole defense. I remember when Paul Malu would go down, all of a sudden the Steelers defense would seem like they
True.
went to shit and they were bad. Everyone would
Yeah.
panic. But it's just what happens when you lose a guy like TJ and Palomalu, those type of guys. Minka,
All gone. Yeah,
yeah.
it is hard. It is hard because you look at the record with TJ being out. They're what 1-10. They won the Bucks game, and they just won that. But old man Brady. What are your thoughts on? Let's talk about some other guys in the NFL. Let's make it a bit more broader scope. What are your thoughts on Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, and Aaron Rodgers? They come into the end of their career.
I'm not gonna bet against Brady quite yet, especially since the end of that last game. You know, he's going through a lot off the field. I'm not betting a penny against that guy. Rodgers, he seems like he's just mentally checked out. Still makes a throw here and there, but I think he's just kind of done with NFL. Seemed like it last year too. And Stafford, I don't know. I think
He's
he's
three
had a
three and
good year
five, I
last
believe.
year.
I think he's 3-5 or 3-6, something like that. They're playing really bad too, and he's getting roughed up. But it seems like these older quarterbacks are, I guess Tom Brady is an anomaly because he's like always there. When he retires, he doesn't retire. If he does retire, he's got a job with the ESPN, right? I can't believe that. It doesn't matter. Like ESPN or CBS said to him, the minute you retire, you have a job calling the game. So he's never getting out of our hair. But and he's going to Germany this week too. How's a flight gonna? His old knees on the flight. Is he gonna be able to handle that?
Yeah, he's going to be significantly less mobile.
Yeah, and did you see him? I saw him run the. It might have been when he versed us. I don't know if it was versing us, but I saw him run the other day. I was like, man, he is so slow. We thought we had a bad, with Big Ben's mobility, but at the same time, with Big Ben in this offense, would you have liked to seen Big Ben come back for one more year? And if they were to draft Kenny Pickett, if that was a scenario, because people have been talking about that as well, would you like that?
It would have been pretty cool to see, and I think it would have been a good thing for Kenny, especially.
Yeah.
And I think the offensive line this year would have benefited Big Ben in a way better way than last year. I think pass protection has been better. Kenny's struggled moving around the pocket properly, so it kind of seems worse at times. But I think definitely Big Ben this year would have been fun to watch, and I would not have been on board with that originally. But
No, neither. And the thing is, it does seem like though in these games or last year he won us so many games, right? Kind of like by himself. Even the Browns game and the Ravens game, like you just see the difference in if he's not trusting Matt Canada's plan. And he even said on record too in his new podcast that he does with football and on YouTube, he said that he's drawing at the plays and he's more of a go-getter mindset where it seems like Coach Tomlin and Matt Canada are holding this offense back. Like they're not doing deep passes. And I don't remember. I don't know what's the stat is. What they've got the lowest touchdown in the NFL for 8 yards. You know what I mean? Like that's bad, right? Like you've been around football all your life, right?
yeah,
How does that even muster to work? If you're game planning, you kind of draw up plays that are like 30, 40 yards, right, for deep shots, don't you? And you might get
yeah.
lucky on a 50-50.
At least one guy is going to be going deep on a lot of plays. It's just like you think after all this time, eventually one of these plays would have hit for 15 yards. It's wild to think.
Yeah, because we
Nothing.
haven't even scored outside the red zone yet. So I
Nope.
think the fry move TD was the one that we got the 9 yards or 8 yard TD, and the defense allowed 98 yarder. Right, that was the Buffalo Bills guy. Gabe Davis went straight down the field, and Trey Norwood got beat. But it seems like this team is in such you know despair. Would you? I'm going to give you two options here, and this is kind of a hard one too. And I don't know which one I would choose. Would you say it's more the skill level of the players or the coaching of the players? That's the reason why we're 2-6.
More so on one, probably. I mean, I would like to say skill, but everyone's so young, so I'll say coaching because that whole offense is just so young altogether.
Yeah, I've definitely heard both ways. Where, of course, coaching is in, Mike Tomlin's, I guess, coaching in his old ways, more defense, more, run and just keep the game close. He doesn't really put the foot down on someone's throat. And Canada's being conservative, but at the same time, you've got the skill level, and we do have a lot of good players like Pickens and these guys. Or actually, I'm a bit biased because they're our team, right? But the offensive line is pretty average compared to other offensive lines uh, around the NFL, And like you said, we go to the defense, right? Coaching could be one thing, but once TJ Watt goes out, who do you have to back up? Who's the guy? Like, who's it can't be Spillane filling in for
Yeah, and
Jack or
you
anyone.
just can't replace a TJ. It's just not
Yeah.
possible.
So I don't know, man. You got any thoughts on this game coming up? Do you think we can turn it around and we can get your channel going to the moon?
I think one game at a time. I think this could be a good one potentially. I think it has its chances of being a win this week. I think it's not too crazy to say.
Yeah, the biggest part for me is like every time I try and think about, okay, how do the Steelers win? How do they score points? I always get stopped by the thought in the back of my head, oh, that's right. It's the Matt Canada system and the offense. And there's so much agreement now of like the NFL media, stars in the media, NFL Live, all these guys are just saying that the offense doesn't work. And, he has about 10, 15 plays and it's like a high school, what do you call it? JV offense? I'm not even sure what that means. What does
Yeah.
JV mean? What's that mean?
So
Junior.
it's junior varsity. It's like what the younger high schoolers would play, the less skilled ones.
Right. So you have like a very simple offense, and now the defense will just figure you out because I get stuck there. Like I love the idea of Najee Harris being a brawler. I love the idea of using Warren, using Connor Haywood, those guys, Muth, Pickens, Kenny Pickett, the young guy who can be mobile and run around and try and win the game. And then defensive wise, you have all these dudes too. Ogunjobi from those dudes and TJ Watt back. You get stuck though. I always get stuck on the Matt Canada offense because this is the worst one, right? In your time watching the Steelers, this has to be the worst offense ever. Like 14
Yeah,
points a game.
it's not even close. It seemed like 2003, even when I was little, it seemed like the passing game was just opening up a little bit with Tommy Maddox compared to Cordell, and nothing in my lifetime ever seemed close at all to this. This is something different. This must be like what the Bubby Brister era felt like, and
Right. And imagine as well, too, because I was living in Canada in 2016 to 2017, right? And I watched that. That was the last time I went to the playoffs, and it was AB. It was Big Ben to AB. It kind of looked easy, didn't it? That offense looked like super easy. They do just Big Ben would command the offense, and I'm not comparing them, Big Ben to Kenny Pickett, but the difference is quite huge. And we even saw it when Mason Rudolph or Duck came in. You kind of like, were we just taking things for granted that how good it was having Le'Veon Bell and those dudes, and for a few years, Martavius Bryant, the alien, and who else we have? Oh, Holmes and these guys, and now and Antonio Brown. Now we just have like I don't know how we can score points. I really don't know how it's going to happen.
no, I have no idea. Especially that you mentioned that Canada offense, it just doesn't write up the plays for these guys to use their skill, how dynamic they are. You have Deontay Johnson running up 50 yards instead of doing a simple slant. George
Yeah.
Pickens just doesn't get the ball.
And the minute they're like half a yard away, they put their hands up and they don't fight back for the ball. There's no like I don't understand. There's no like of course it's structural foundation starts from the top with Tomlin, starts with the offensive coordinator. How do you think like what do you think a daily or weekly segment of Matt Canada's life is? What do you think he does? Like all day? What do you think he's doing?
I think he's on man trying to find out some better plays. No
Oh
idea.
man.
It's so simple. I mean, just everything, like I'm not like an offensive genius. I watch these videos of someone breaking down how simple this offense truly is. Like I have no idea how it happens. I don't know how he got the job in the first place. Looking at his
Yeah,
resume.
I saw a tweet somewhere. I don't know what it was, but it listed everything from like his past accomplishments with like all the other teams he worked for. There was one team in there in college. He was like 73rd in the league, like for offensive coordinator, or whatever. And it listed all these bad things. He's been coaching for a very long time. I just don't understand how, we all. I think a lot of Steel fans when we hired him, we had so bad with Randy Fichtner, and we're like, oh, we need someone else, right? We need someone else to be the guy. He steps in, and you're like, what is happening? Like it is this whole Matt Canada system is just beyond awful. And I'm excited tomorrow for the game, right? I really am. It's my 5 a.m. I'll wake up, have a coffee. Because you guys going through, I think, daylight savings, you're falling back or falling forward or something like that. So I'm excited for the game, but then you always get stuck on that bit like, oh, that's right. He's calling the plays. And we do so well, and they're gonna limit, Kenny Pickett. But how do they get how do they move this football down the field? Is it just by targeting Pickens more and giving him a 50-50 chance?
I mean that would probably be a start, but I think they just need to get into the running game a little better, whether it's working in Warren or something more creative with the play calling. Um, Having Kenny Pickett throw the ball 70 times a game is never going to win, especially not with a rookie quarterback. And it's just not a good way to get your rookie quarterback acclimated into the NFL. Look at Big Ben's rookie year. He threw the ball a handful of times a game, really.
Yeah, but it's still, even when they run the football, it doesn't seem like this O line is very good at run blocking too. I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Pat Meyer, the offensive line coach? Like this just seems to be like a fundamental breakdown of like we just can't do anything. And scoring the 14, even trying to work through it. And the Saints aren't the best team either. Like they might be starting Andy Dalton, right? It's how embarrassing would it be if Andy Dalton beats us in Heinz Field or Acrisure?
Ooh, I mean, at least we could blame Minka not being there. We have all the excuses already loaded in.
Hey man, have
I
you have you been to, have you been to a game this year? Are you?
uh Preseason. That's the only one I went to.
Okay. Yeah. So you haven't been because you live in Pittsburgh, right?
Yep, right in Pittsburgh.
What's the overall? I think I asked you this before in the off season. What's the overall uh, feeling or vibe in the sports city of Pittsburgh? Is everyone kind of down, kind of a bit like, it's whatever. See you next year.
Yeah, I already pretty much see you next year kind of feeling, especially with the way the Penguins are doing. They haven't been too hot, but yeah, I was just up in Buffalo, and that was a completely different feeling. You
Did
had
you
Josh Allen jerseys everywhere, Diggs, everyone was ready for the game. Haven't felt that way in a little bit here.
did you throw yourself through a table? I think that's customary up there.
I couldn't pull myself to do it, but maybe next time.
I've always said if I was a fan of the Buffalo Bills, I'd probably do it. Like if I
Oh,
was going
you
over there
have
from Australia, I'd be like, yeah, just put on fire. Put on fire. I tell you, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this though. And this one I can't handle. I'm not a big fan of this shit. Like I saw there was one guy out there. He covers himself in mustard and ketchup before the game. I was like, what are you doing? Like you like that or they did it. No, they did it for the Pittsburgh game, I think. And I was like, why would you do that? Then you're covered in ketchup and mustard for the whole game. Like, I don't understand. Like, these people are nuts. I would throw myself through a table though, if it was like kind of safe and stuff. But other than that, it does feel very funny because Pittsburgh's going for a time now. A lot of fans want us to tank, which I don't think they'll tank. Do you think the Steelers are going to tank, or they're going to just ride it out and maybe be below 500?
I have no idea really. I like to think they're tanking because they've been so bad, and they've pointed their finger to tanking pretty well now. But with TJ coming back and him not coming back on a pitch count,
Hmm.
I think there's a chance they could win 5, 6 games, maybe. That first half of the schedule was brutal too,
Yeah.
so maybe it'll be different. I don't know. I'm excited to watch either way.
Yeah, big time. Me too. Like, I'm excited to see if they can actually stop Alvin Kamara, Chris Oslav, I think Oslav, what his name is. Andy Dalton there, and they've got two, Jameis Winston, but they're not playing him, nor they're playing Taysom. What's his name? Austin? No, I can't remember his name.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Yeah, that guy. So, are you like worried at all about this Saints team coming in and wrecking havoc because they're favorite right now?
Um, yeah, I'm pretty worried every week now. It's been completely different. You don't know if they're gonna play decently or it's gonna be like Buffalo and or even against last week. So I don't know. I really it's the craziest thing ever.
Well, the thing is too, with the two wins we got, the first win was the Bengals bungled it. They lost twice. I couldn't handle that game, by the way. Near the end, I was like, "End it, please, just end it."
It was
I'm
a
so
mess.
over the ups and
TJ
downs.
was playing great too.
And then he went out, right? And we had the we had the block field goal by Minka, and you're like, "Oh, it's not over yet." Then we miss our field goal, and then they miss their field goal, and then we get ours. I was like, "Just end it." I'm so emotionally done. Like I was done. I told my live stream, or the guys here too. I was like, "I'm done. Just end the fucking game. I can't handle it." It went down to the wire. I was like, "What the hell is going on?" Then we
Blood
have the
pressure
other
was
win.
through the roof.
Hey, what's that?
Blood pressure was through the roof on that
Oh,
one.
mate, like I can handle getting ready to lose, like from the block field goal. The game's over. We suck 23-20. We're bad. But it did that 3 times,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, we don't deserve to win. Then we won. So then we're 1-0. Then we went on a really bad stretch. Then we got in a second game with the Bucks, and our defense, the backups, actually stood up and played. And I was very impressed. I was like, whoa, dude, Arthur Millette, Pierre, James Pierre. Maybe this week it might happen again. Because those guys are playing for a job in the NFL where the other guys already have their starting
Josh
money.
Jackson, he had a great game
Yeah,
against Mike
they
Evans.
played fantastic, right? They stopped the Bucks. I think we won. Did we win 17-14? I think something like that.
Yeah, it was low. It
Yeah.
was
Tom Brady was out of class, got sacked a few times. And I was like, okay, we're kind of back. Then we get Rick rolled, I believe, by the Buffalo Bills the next week,
I think so.
like
I'm
35
all.
to 3.
It was
Uh,
yeah, it was a mess though because it gave the Steelers a chance to give Mitch a couple more games just to see. Cuz Kenny had that head injury. Then he
right.
came right back and I thought with the Tua situation, he'd definitely be out a game or two. And Mitch was really hot against the Bucks. So I thought, a hot hand with Mitch. Let's see what we have.
He he did come back and win. I haven't been a Mitch guy from the almost. I was a Mitch guy at the start, then I kind of lost faith. Like a lot of us did. But he did come back and had a good game right near the end, right? And there are some people saying out there now, like well, Kenny hasn't really won a game yet. To a certain degree, I don't think he has. He was running down the field. He got. I don't think it was that bad though. He got a bit more whiplash. He came back, but this could be a time, like after the break. Do you think these fellas do have a legit chance to go maybe on a run, and it's just what one game at a time. It's Kenny time now because what else can we do? It's either we cheer them on to win or we cheer them on to lose for a draft pick, and I'm going cheer them on to win.
Yeah, I'm going to cheer him on to win. I think the potential is always there. If they lose out, they lose out, but I think every week they have a chance, especially with the schedule remaining.
Well, we got I think half the AFC South. We've got the Panthers in there, the Falcons. What are your thoughts on your other? Because you're a Browns fan in the background there. You got mixing without that beanie on, you wouldn't know what's going on. What are your thoughts on how they treated Baker Mayfield?
I think they jumped the gun, especially given who they traded for with Deshaun Watson. I think Baker he did the impossible. He won a playoff game for the Browns against the Steelers.
Right.
I mean, give credit to the rest of the team too, but I think he had a lot of potential and he played hurt last year.
But it's kind of funny it's not funny, but they threw him under the bus. They sent him to Panthers. They gave him a shot there. Now he's not even starting, right? I think he's almost a healthy scratch there. I think he's like got a sore chest or something, but he's still pretty healthy. They're gone with PJ Walker, but it seems like he can't get a fair cut either. Similar to what Rudolph is to being a backup role. But I thought we would be playing the Panthers and Baker Mayfield. Do you think when we get time to that we are going to be playing Baker Mayfield or not?
I don't know because he came in a little bit of garbage time, scored 2 touchdowns, 2 or 3
Really?
a week ago. Then they started PJ Walker this week. So I guess they're sticking with PJ. And I saw Darnold. Is he still there? I think he was just
That's
brought off
yeah.
injury.
He's still there too, but I think he's like almost a healthy scratch. So I think if they've been injured before, but now they're going with Walker, and they got two first rounders, right? Two first rounders on the Panthers, anyways. But almost near the end of the show, guys, going to put some questions in, and we'll try and answer them in this chat. But overall, tomorrow, mate, are you watching the game at home? Are you watching the game at the bar? What are you doing?
Probably just watch it right on the couch. It's always my favorite spot.
Yeah. Do you have beers and stuff too? Do you have any favorite food or whatever? Favorite American food?
Um, Usually I'll chill with an icy light every now and then. Local beer and food. I'm a pizza guy. I'm a wing guy. Really
Pizza's
anything.
good, right?
You can't go wrong with some pizza.
I think honestly, pizza's one of the best foods. You can have that easily with a game. It fills you up. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know about you, right? But when I have wings, they never fill me up. Do you know what I mean? They're just like that like you just eat. They're tasty to eat, stuff like that. Um, um, but the pizza at least there's like dough and stuff there too.
Yeah, it
So
can fill you, and you can just.
yeah,
It's just easy. It's not too dirty.
what's
It's
your what's
easy.
your favorite pizza? Mine's
Oh,
pepperoni.
yeah, I like pepperoni. I like a lot of stuff, but plain pepperoni, I can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. So tomorrow day, or it's your far out 1 p.m. right? 1 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah.
So you
Yep.
got the pizza, you got the beers, or maybe a beer or so. Maybe was it Yingling you might have too? That's another
Yeah.
beer I know.
Yep. Yingling.
Or the Iron City beer. You're chilling there. I mean, I love the pizza. I love talking pizza on podcasts. I think pizza's amazing. I'm telling you, I just love it. Dante's like crushing wings right now. The only thing is with the wings, right though, with the wings, I just feel like I can never go to dinner and have wings for my main meal. That makes sense because you
Yeah.
eat the wings, and you're like, okay, they're tasty, but you're never full. Pizza, I can do that all day. Okay,
You
you're
gotta
sitting
do the
there,
pizza and wings. You can't just do the wings.
yeah, big time. So you're sitting there. And two questions. What's your reaction gonna be when you see the Matt Canada come out and they run right up the guts? They run right up the guts, and it's 2 yard run to Najee Harris.
Just pretty much, do what I do every week. Is scream at my TV. Why are they doing this play over and over again? It's
you know,
always if they're moving a guy in motion, that's the way they're running.
no, I don't know where I was on one podcast somewhere, but I said what's gonna happen is Gentry's gonna go in motion. So I'm calling it now. You're gonna have Najee Harris. You're gonna have Kenny Pickett. I think they called a 12 formation or 11. I don't know what it's called, but you have two tight ends and one receiver, right? Is that three people? Oh no, two tight ends and two receivers. That's 4, 5. I think that's enough. Anyways, Gentry's going to go in motion, right, from right to left, and then Najee right at the guts. That's what you see every time. There's going to be
Yeah.
no point for Gentry going in motion. 0 point for him going in motion. But I think it's called 12 personnel, I believe. Is that where you have two receivers, one running back, two tight ends, and 5 offensive linemen? Is that enough?
Was it 12?
Yeah, I think so. Is that right? Two tight ends, two receivers, one running back. That's 5. Quarterback 6. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Two tight ends, two receivers, one running back, one quarterback, and the 5 offensive linemen. I think it's 12. I think it's called 12 personnel, whatever that's called. But it was with Owen, so I was talking with Owen about it. I reckon that's going to happen. I reckon if that's the bet, it's going to be that personnel in the I formation, or whatever you call it. Gentry goes in motion. He's the only guy going in motion, right? He's going to fake to go over. Najee's going to get the ball with a straight handoff, and boom, 2 yards. Like I'm calling it. That's it. It's going to happen.
You'll have that, and you'll have Derek Watt playing the wide receiver again. Can't use him as a fullback. Gotta put him out wide.
Oh, here we go. Got a few questions here too. So, that's true. Well, that's why you have wings as an appetizer. To be fair, that's very true, right? Dante said in Kyle says here, how much more is Warren going to play? That's a big question. We've kind of answered that, but what do you think? How much more? How many more snaps?
I would like to see him at least get half of them. Just for a game or two, see how that works out. I think he has a lot more upside at the moment. I think he has a great burst. He plays forward. And we're 2-6. It cannot get any worse. So why not try something different?
You might as well. Just me says here, Last month, our group had a visitor from Indiana, Florida, Australia, and Virginia. Just me from Spokane, Washington. So that's awesome. So we have an Australian up there. They have like a little bar where they go and watch the game every Sunday. Juice says here, are you ready for what? TJ Watt, is it, he might be on limited snaps, but will he make a big difference?
Oh, absolutely. If he stays healthy the whole game, he'll definitely make a difference. But big if on the health.
Just hopefully he doesn't get re-injured, right? As long as he doesn't get
Yeah.
re-injured, because our hearts will sink again, and then it's pretty much all over. Britsburg Owen says, why don't the Steelers go to Pickens more? What's their overall aim for that?
I would say Matt Canada. I think he should just draw up some plays, just look his way no matter what, throw it up to him. That's what they were basically doing for Claypool for the last 2 seasons. He was kind of that guy. Make wide receivers, they don't need to develop either. So I don't know what the point is of not playing him the whole game. Look at
How does
Jamar
it?
Chase, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Those guys were all good from day one.
How does it work? Like, I'm trying to figure out the Matt Canada like offense, right? Aren't you meant to get your receivers, mismatching with cornerbacks, running different routes where one route is opening up a field? Like, he doesn't do that, right? Does he? Nothing
No.
seems to open up the field or open up the middle of the field where, okay, you're sending one guy really deep, which takes away a safety. Then maybe next minute you have a guy underneath. There's no here it is. There's no real levels to it, is there? Like, when you're watching football or if you've played football, isn't the offense meant to create certain levels and certain route schemes? Like, how come he doesn't do that? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, it's something you see with the Chiefs where guys will kind of set picks
Right.
inadvertently, like
Yeah.
just crossing routes, whatever. You'll just see a level of creativity that you just do not see. And what puzzles me, whole year last year, wait till Canada gets a mobile quarterback. Wait,
That's what I thought.
nothing they've done required a mobile quarterback aside from maybe two quarterback draws in the red zone.
He doesn't even do any play action. You barely see any play action where it actually works. You barely any see like you said, creativity wise with the Chiefs, they might do a tight end screen where you think everyone's going to go down the field and it could be a screen. It doesn't seem like anything like. I feel like an offensive coordinator should be coordinating the whole match, not just picking plays here and there to see if they work. If that makes sense, right? They're not getting not developing a scheme or identity throughout the whole game and figuring them out. It's like, oh, you know what? We're going to run a reverse at the 50-yard line because right now we should. To
Yeah.
me, there's no consistency where these motions and these run plays aren't leading up towards anything. Like, aren't you meant to run the ball to put pressure on them to feature in play action or stuff like that? And it doesn't seem to be any like. There's been no picks like legal picks where, or the unlegal ones where the Patriots used to do it, where they used to send out Wes Welker, and they would what they. Jennifer says Matt Canada couldn't coordinate a lunch. That's fantastic, right? But the days where the receivers would do illegal picks and they kind of get away with it, they don't do that. They don't do any of that. They just seem like, oh, this guy's going to go to the right, he's going to go to the left, and we'll throw a back shoulder pass. Is that can it be fixed? Like, can he go into his playbook and find that stuff or nah?
I don't think so. I think he's just he's made his bet already. We saw last year his entire offense, whether we knew it or not.
Even for me that I don't like, I understand the offense for watching the game, not playing it, but playing Madden or whatever. I just don't see any like crossing routes. I don't see any in routes in the field. I don't see any, like imaginative plays where they're fooling the defense to like the player or is in space. You never see that, do you? Where Antonio Brown got in space, or where you would see DJ be in space. And talking of DJ too, what is your opinion of Deontay Johnson? He hasn't got the best rep right now. He's been dropping a lot of passes. What's your opinion of him?
I think he's the worst good receiver in the NFL. If that makes sense. He'll do something one play, run a crisp route, a beautiful catch, whatever it may be, and then the next play he just either quits on the play or drops it. He's the hardest guy because you root for him. and you root for him, but then like he just does something so frustrating, and then he goes on social media and like he's free to say whatever he wants on
What?
social media, but like
Oh, of
just
course.
just
What
chill.
what I don't understand is they put this so much pressure on themselves, and they all talk a big game, right? And then they go to social media before or after and say, it's my time, it's here to come, and you're like, it never happens. You know what I mean? Like he does a big pass or a big catch with that. I think he had a few in the first few games where he had a big one-handed catch. Looks fantastic. And you're right. The next few times he checks out of routes. And I've even seen both him and Claypool. I've seen on certain routes on Twitter where they just stop running. They don't even go through the. I saw one was when because I'm not a Claypool guy, but I saw him on a route was walking, like dead set walking the route and just like going through a practice drill. Where's the old, I know AB was crazy or went crazy, right? But how
Yeah.
much of an athlete he was and how much of a fantastic receiver that he practiced the way he played, right? In his routes, he broke out and he went crazy. We just don't see that with DJ. Maybe it's because we put him on a pedestal and we thought he's a number one. Pickens is a guy going out there showing it like he's trying his hardest, right? But it just doesn't seem to be these guys don't care overall. Besides maybe Pickens, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they don't care or what. It's just like, they claim to, like you said, be on the top of their game. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it. Johnson, I don't. Haven't gotten anything from him. I haven't gotten that big play of the game where he doesn't fumble against the Lions type thing.
Yeah. Jennifer says here his media interview, how he needed to get away from football, angered me. You got a big contract and you act like that. I think to a certain degree, I don't. I think he's a Johnson is a very soft spoken guy. Same time though, you need some confidence about you. If you like in that media interview, a lot of guys who I interviewed and a guy like Johnson does look down a lot. He's not engaged in the process, just going through the same things. And you see it all the time, like on social media or on Instagram, and where I guess we can judge them. And you see them go, yeah, you know what? Next time it's going to be my time next week. It's, oh, I'm here for it. Trust the plan, this kind of stuff. And then nothing fucking happens. Like it doesn't make any sense. I would rather see a guy not on social media, or well, back in the day with Heinz Ward, those guys just go out there and play. The more quiet you are off social media, even to a certain extent, like I didn't see James Washington on there, and he went out there and played okay for us, and these guys. Just two more questions, and I will get out of here. What's your thoughts on Steven Sims and in his role with this team on the offense? Can he start to light it up?
I think he's a big reason why we saw Claypool go away. I think he has a great potential, and so does Boykin. And Steven Sims,
Big
I,
time.
I see what everyone sees. I see that like that young AB, not the fastest player, but somehow knows how to make stuff happen in open space, just quick enough. I really do. I love watching him. I thought after the preseason he was going to be a lock to be a starter, but
So did I. I called it too. I thought they were going to get rid of Gunner. They kept Gunner and they got rid of him. Now he's back. I think he plays pretty physical. I think he plays, actually maybe more physical than Deontay. Now it's a big change coming into a starting role, and we'll see if the game plan is to go to him. But I would hope it goes to Pickens first, and then maybe Deontay, then him. But we'll see what happens. But you're right though, right? You have Boykin and hopefully Connor Hayward, and you have guys there for this Canada system, right? Or this Canada broken system. Final question, then we'll get out of here. It's been a long episode, and I appreciate everyone coming in. Can we win tomorrow, and what's the score?
um, you're never going to hear me bet against the Steelers, so I'm going to say in a good defensive effort, we'll say 17 to we'll give them 12. Somehow they put up 12.
So we're scoring. How are we scoring 17 points? Is that a pick six by TJ Watt? I don't know. Can't be Minka now.
Yeah, we'll say defensive touchdown. We'll give it to TJ.
Is there going to be a fumble? He's going to carry Dalton to the end of the end of the end zone. I don't know. I don't know what's
I
going to
could
happen.
see it. You never know TJ. He's a loose cannon on the field. He's fun to watch.
Here's one for you, and this is kind of an interesting one too. Brisbane Owen says, "Does the fact that Canada has 1 year left on and got Tomlin's son in a scholarship mean he's safe? The thing is, like for me, of course, I think so because like if you don't, there's politics in everything, right? There's politics in sport, so there could be an idea. The only reason he has the job is because Tomlin got his son into a school. That could be very well it. Like other than that, why else are you keeping the guy for the worst offense in the league, maybe ever? What do you think?
Um, yeah. The Steeler way is what to kind of do right by your people. Look how they even did Shazier really well. You never see a team ever do something like that. So I think they're looking out for him, maybe to an extent. I'd like to think not, but I could very much see that being the case. Like you said,
Yeah,
there's politics and everything.
big time, always is. Gina says here, Tomlin is still calling plays for the offense and defense. I don't think Tomlin's calling the plays for offense, right? It's Matt Canada.
I thought he had the play calls. I think Tomlin he took the defense. Was it last year? He still might
Yeah,
be doing it, but I think with Flores now, things are a
I'm
lot
pretty
different.
sure it's because we saw Matt Canada. Why would Matt Canada celebrate so hard? Like he won the Super Bowl with a Claypool to DJ Watt. You know what I'm saying? In the stands. Anyways, guys, I've got this game. I think I've got 24-21, even though it's hard for me to say 24 points because I'm like, how do they score 24 points? Najee ain't running anywhere. They're not giving Warren the ball. They won't implement Connor Hayward, which they should be doing. They won't pass the ball to Muth, and they won't pass the ball to Pickens. So you're left with a chance to pass it to, Deontay Johnson. Also, there's still pressure on. I'm not saying Kenny Pickett's a saint, right? I'm not saying he's the best, but right now they're not scheming anything up to where they can go and score points. It could be a game. It might be 13-10. We don't know. That's the Saints. Like Saints can't
Yeah,
score points either. So TJ Watt might sack them, and it could be a punt fest, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
never know.
Um, I
Look
don't
at
know.
that Chiefs Titans game. That was a game I did not expect to be any type of way. Like
What was
that
that
was
one?
pretty close. That went to overtime. Mahomes threw like
Oh,
140 yards in the first quarter, then kind of went quiet the rest of the game, then blew back up in the fourth.
yeah. It's good though to see good defense. Sometimes it's hard to watch really bad offense.
Yeah.
And right now it is pretty bad offense without Steelers. Anyways, Tyler, mate, I think we might get out of here because I'm sick of looking at Johnny Manziel. No, I want to watch that
Fair
game.
enough.
He got absolutely towed up. Like I missed that. I saw a post the other day, 2008 Steelers defense, and it like names all the legends. You're like, whoa, dude, did we have it fun back then? Did we have a
Oh
good time back
gosh.
then in 2008? Probably much better time in the world as well. Not everyone was hating everyone. Defense was fun. Debo Harrison, Ryan Clark, Troy Palamamu, Ike Taylor's in there, Brett Kiesel, Big Snack, all those dudes, man. James Farrier, if I mentioned him, all those dudes in there playing as a brotherhood, and they still talk about this day that they played as a brotherhood. They text each other as a brotherhood. They're all for each other, and it feels like our team is like individual. I did okay, I didn't do okay, that kind of stuff. And when you got the kicker Chris Boswell calling out Matt Canada. It's in a bit of strife, but I agree with Steeler Girl here, 24-21, and I agree with Claude too. We can win this game. And hopefully we just play some good football. I would love to see him smash it out, but hopefully we can play some good football. Anyways, Tyler, mate, thank you for coming on the show. Stick around for a little bit, and I'll talk to you after the show. But thanks, mate. Hope all is well. And check out Tyler Itzyinzburgh on YouTube. You guys probably already have him. He's you're famous over there, mate. They probably have a sandwich named after you, don't they?
Oh, not quite, but I appreciate you having me.
All right, man. I'll see you later. Thanks, guys. See you later.